Believe that, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another year. It is Winners and Losers presented by our friends at Dos Equis. And shout out to our friends at VIP Play as well. The participants in week one, it's an ensemble cast. You know the drill as we go. What we're going to do in this edition of Winners and Losers, week one college football, we're going to look at the action. And we're going to take you inside some of the games. My panel has been given the assignment. The assignment is take any three games on the board. When the NFL season commences, we pick an NFL game as well. The three games you feel best about on the board, then we whittle it down and we try to come up with three power plays out of that. To begin the festivities, we've got three victims, and then we have Mr. C, who's going to join us here in a little bit. But moving right to left across your device, let's just go from the top on down. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Kyle Blackburn right there. Kyle, shout out to you. Good to see you, man.
Well, thanks for inviting me on, Tony.
Let's get it rolling here. Ladies and gentlemen, star of stage and screen, we call him VIP Play Will, the great Will Heflin. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Happy to talk football with you on this show.
Willie. And back by popular demand, a mainstay on the program, Nashville Lee. How we doing, brother?
Yeah, everybody thought I was gone, man. Y'all thought y'all heard the end of me, but I'm back for one more year, I guess.
And by the way, C is going to be joining us here in a little bit. Brian Hartman and Blair send their regards, and we'll work them in the mix and in the hunt as we go. But in the meantime, we're presented by our friends at Dos Equis. Lager Especial, Golden Pilsner style beer made from the choice of hops, a balanced composition, smooth, clean finish. The party guest always invited, never overstays his welcome. It's a nuanced blend of malts and earth tones. You just got to try it. Ladies and germs, without further ado, Lee, since you know the drill here, why don't you throw out the first pick here as we get it started on Winners and Losers Week 1.
All right, Tom. Yeah, so let's go to this Northwestern Tulane game. I know it's not the biggest game of the week. There's a lot of big-time games. This is probably the one that I still like the most at the current number. It's not as good as it was. You want to shop around, see if you can find the best number. I'm on Northwestern here. I took 7 a month or so ago. I've got some Northwestern money line. I think they're very much alive in this game with Tulane. I think Tulane's being a little bit overrated here after what they've done the last couple of years. Look at this Tulane team. They lost their quarterback, Mensa. He took off to Duke. They also running back Malachi Hughes. He took off to Oregon. They're replacing several starters in their offensive line. And what the unsung part about that Tulane team has been the last couple of years is their defensive front 7. It's been one of the best in the group of 5, and they've lost several guys to the NFL. They're replacing a lot of guys out of the portal on that front 7. It will still be solid, but I don't think they're warning this number here against Northwestern. Northwestern did add Preston Stone at quarterback. He's not the best, but it's much better than what they were rolling with last year with Mike Wright. It's actually a pretty big upgrade. They've added a couple of pretty decent receivers, I think, to help them out. Their secondary has a couple of future NFL guys in that secondary. This is probably going to be a slog of a game. It's going to be really low scoring, which favors the underdog. I think these points are really valuable to take with Northwestern. I think they're very much live to win this weekend. So give me Northwestern to go on the road and keep this really, really close against Tulane on Saturday.
You know, as we sit here and we talk about this entire deal, you know, I'm just looking at this and I'm saying to myself, you know, you try and find games like this on the card. Obviously, there's so much change and there's so much turnover and there's so much unknown. We'll be getting to the Tennessee-Syracuse game here in a little bit. But Kyle Blackburn, let's go ahead and go down the tree here. I feel like I'm Peter Marshall on the Hollywood Squares or something. But go ahead, man. Lay it on me. Give me your first play. Oh, hang on, Kyle. I'm sorry. That was very rude of me. I had you muted. Go ahead, man. My bad.
I'm going to go Bama at FSU. When I saw it was minus 14.5 on VIP. I'm going to go with Bama covering. I played it at minus 13 and would probably play it up to the next big T number. Kind of reminds me, this game reminds me of, it might have been 2016 when Bama played USC in the opening week, and it was a whole bunch of hype, and it ended up being like 52-16. Bama just ran over them. I just think they're better at like every position on the field, even if quarterback is still a little bit of a question. I do love starting the season with marquee matchups like this. And I don't see Bama necessarily blowing them out or unveiling everything at once, but I do see them going after it and taking care of business in Tallahassee. And so that's easy cover for me.
You know, Kyle, I feel you. Obviously, panel, what do you guys think about the Florida State Bama game? Anybody have a thought on it?
I do. I mean, I'm a Ty Simpson believer. I'm bought in on him more than some of the other guys who are getting way more chatter, your Arch Mannings of the world. And, certainly it makes a lot of sense. But Ty Simpson's waited his turn. It's his first year holding the reins, but he was a really big time prospect. And I just think him and DeBoer will mesh really well. And everywhere DeBoer's been, we've seen year two, it's like, here they are. And around him, it's one of the best rosters in the country. Like, they are loaded. And I don't think people are talking about him enough. So I'm bought in. Not crazy, but Florida State's going to be better, right? They're not going to be as bad as they were. But it's a tall task to open the season with Bama, trying to figure things out with Castellanos. It's just, with it being in Tallahassee is probably my only concern, but I would definitely lean Bama. Probably I liked it a lot better when you get it at an even 14, but I think by kickoff tomorrow or Saturday, that thing might be 15 or 16, depending on if any heavy money comes in on Bama late.
Hey, Lee, I like that Bama bunch as well this year. I think they've got a playoff team there, and if they do, they should get off the jump pretty well this weekend. Although, who knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love Bama's roster. I mean, I think their ceiling is lower with Ty Simpson. It wouldn't surprise me if at some point during the season you do see a change to the freshman. I think he gives them a much higher ceiling than Ty. I think they can make the playoffs, go 10-2 with Simpson, but I think that's it. I don't think they win anything big. As far as this game goes, like I upgraded Florida State like 15 points from my power ratings from last year, but they were so low. It's not like I had to. Gus Malzahn does raise the floor for them, but he also, I don't think he has a huge ceiling. I'm not a Castellanos fan. If they get down in this game, Castellanos isn't a guy that can like throw it up and down the field to get you back in it. I think they're going to study a lot of what Vandy did to Bama, the same type of stuff, try to grind this thing out, ball control, limit possessions with the run game. And I think that's the way they're going to approach it. If they get down, it's Bama. There's a good chance Bama probably runs away with this, but I think the number's like about right. Like, I don't really want to lay 14 on the road, but it's probably the side with Bama.
And like Kyle said, the thing is, there's probably still a little wiggle room there to be had. The interesting thing about these games is when you're better, you're better. Whether you're on the road, whether you're not, when you're better, you're better. And Alabama should be much better than that Florida State team. Who do we leave off with? Willie, is it your shot? Who goes now? It's your shot.
It's my shot.
Yeah, go ahead, my man. Shot. Hey, and by the way, don't be nervous. Kyle jumped right in. Nothing to be nervous about here. I know you're around some experts, but there's nothing to be nervous here about.
Yeah, I'm always nervous, so That's fine. Just kidding. We've taken 2 road teams so far, 1 dog, 1 fave. I will continue that trend. I'll actually give you a game that's tomorrow. For my first pick, am taking the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Love Haynes King. Love what Brett Key has done over there. Too much uncertainty with Colorado. I think it's Salter at quarterback. Dion's probably playing a little bit of a little gamesmanship. It's going to be Salter. Maybe they did announce it today, but as of earlier this week, they hadn't announced it. Again, feel bad giving out the worst of the number. It's 4.5 now. Could have gotten it at 3 a couple weeks ago, but look, it's week 1. These games have been out forever, as Lee was saying. Like, it's kind of tough, and I'm typically home teams and dogs. So I'm giving out a road favorite. It feels like I'm going against the grain a little bit, or my own personal tendencies. But week one, you kind of just got to do what you got to do. We're going to learn so much this weekend. But Georgia Tech is so physical. They lost a lot up front on the offensive line, but it's just a program that's really good at developing guys at that position. They're going to push you around. Haynes King is a gamer. They're not going to be worried about the environment. And they showed off their icy white uniforms today, which looked really good. So if you need that icing on the cake, there it is.
Hey, listen, I love that Georgia Tech program. I think that that guy does a really wonderful job with what he has. He's like a perfect match for his institution and what they try and do. And, Lee, we've made some money on here the last couple of years fading Deion Sanders. Does that continue this year, or does Deion have a little more now defensively, and is he a little more formidable?
Yeah, actually, once this hit 4.5, I took Colorado. I don't get this number. Like, I'm way off. Like, I have Colorado favored by 2.5 in this.
Wow.
I don't really get this. Like, I think Georgia Tech's being overrated because of the game against Georgia that everybody saw last year. That Georgia Tech's defense is not good. Like, it's not good at all. Their offensive line, yeah, you talked about offensive line. They're replacing like 4 guys on the offensive line. And Colorado defense is really good. It was exceptionally good last year. I don't think people realize how good. Robert Livingston did a hell of a job at DC there. He's back this year. Colorado's going to run the ball a lot more this year. They couldn't run the ball at all last year. I do worry about Salter. He's only played one Power 4 opponent in the last 2 years, and that was Oregon in the bowl game, and he got killed. That really wasn't on Salter as much as just the fact they were outmatched everywhere. But yeah, I can't get to this number. I think 4.5 is kind of crazy. And historically, like Brent Key, as a dog, I love him. I'm going to be on Georgia Tech when they play Clemson in a couple of weeks, but not as a favorite though. Yeah, I like Colorado. I just can't get to this number. I think it's kind of crazy.
Anybody else have a thought on this ball game? Kyle, do you have a thought on it?
Just get away from it, Tony, and that's just because I'm with you. I like what Georgia Tech has done. I like the identity they've created. Yeah. And as fans, I think we've been waiting for them to kind of come back, not just to the ACC, but also to give that, I guess, little brother punch up to Georgia. And that was a clean, old-fashioned hate. That used to be a good game, and we saw it.
They had them beat last year, Kyle. They had them beat last year. They let them up.
So, but I see where Lee's cap comes from, and so that's why, to me, I'm looking at what I want to see versus probably some more of the numbers. So that's why it's to stay away from me.
Well, and to Will's point, it's early in the season. It's so hard to get a feel for what's going to happen. I've been talking about this Tennessee-Syracuse game all off season. And, the more I think about it, the more I lock myself into circles. But let's go ahead and go back to Lee, who's in with pick number 2. Lee, let me have pick number 2. Hit it.
All right. Yeah, we're going to go to, again, this is a little bit off the radar, but it's South Dakota. They're going to Iowa State. This is just a spot play. It's rare we get like these spot plays in like week 1.
Right.
But I'm on South Dakota here. I played them at plus 16. It's probably a little lower now. I'd probably play them all the way down to plus 13. Historically, Matt Campbell is not very good when he plays these FCS teams. This is a terrible spot for Iowa State. Traveling back from Ireland, playing the very next week against as far as FCS goes, a pretty solid South Dakota team. Iowa State has Iowa on deck next week. They're just going to want to get in, get out, win this game, and they're not going to show much. Like I said, historically, Matt Campbell is not good against FCS teams. He's like 3-9 ATS, something like that. So yeah, I took South Dakota plus the 16 right after Iowa State. Finished off Kansas State and Ireland last weekend.
Ironically enough, I don't know if you saw that, but K-State's got North Dakota this weekend in an interesting little scheduling
Similar
twist.
Spot. Yep.
Yeah.
Similar spot.
Except I guess the father is going to be suspended this week. I love the dad, man. The dad's an absolute brain donor. That's what college football is all about.
And the running back is already left. I think he left the team. Like there's all kinds of drama going on with that team already. It's not looking good for them.
Modern day college football, lose a game, and they all go out the door on you. Willie, do you have an updated number over at VIP Play on that ball game?
15. So it's
15.
down to 15.
Okay.
I think you said, Lee, you'd like it down to 13 or 14?
You'd still play it,
14
Lee?
would be ideal. I would play it down to 13. Just I know it's not a key number. It sounds weird, but yeah, everywhere I've looked at it, thing is lined like right at 12 or 13. So I wouldn't go any lower than that.
All right. So plus 15, South Dakota. We'll just go ahead and give it a plus 15 there, which is still a very good number as far as Lee's concerned. All right, Kyle, back to you for play number 2 to go with your Bama at Florida State play. Go ahead, my man.
This is SEC. This one is a much bigger line. It's Marshall at Georgia. Georgia was minus 39 on VIP when I last checked it. I'm going to pick Marshall to cover. It's more about Kirby's philosophy. He doesn't tend to run the little guys into the ground a ton. And he's also been at the forefront vocalizing about how if you want to make these runs in the playoffs, you got to survive like 16-game seasons. I just don't think they're going to throw everything at them. I think they're going to do what they need to do and move on, give Stockton some run and get in a rhythm. It wouldn't surprise me to see more like a 45-7, 42-10 type game. And also I'm hoping maybe the public money will steam this up before kickoff a little bit higher. But Georgia, I mean, they're going to dominate, but I think they're just going to get in, get out, and move on.
Georgia's opponent one more time. Give it to me one more time.
Marshall.
Oh, Marshall. Okay. And the number was?
Plus 39.
Okay.
I don't know if that's been updated or not.
So you've got plus 39 there.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. I love the thought there because Georgia, unlike anybody, and this is just the truth about them, Will, depending on the opponent across from them, they can look as ordinary as they want to make themselves look. I've never seen a team hide in plain sight under a head coach the way they do under Kirby Smart. And he will not run the score up on people either. That's another thing we know. So 39 points is a lot of points against Georgia. What do you think there, Willie?
Yeah, I'm on board, especially early. Like it could start a little slow. You're kind of betting on Kirby to take the foot off the gas, which could very well happen. Or Marshall keep it within 2 or 3 scores in that first half, and you're just watching the clock the whole way home. So I kind of like it.
Hey, Lee, why is he a gas down guy? I mean, we've seen him in years past, even in this league. Like they get in league games, Lee, and get disinterested. Like a couple years with Missouri and various other teams in the league.
Every year with Kentucky.
Yeah, and then they're in Kentucky, and then they get across from Tennessee and they beat the living hell out of the Vols.
Like I think personally, I just think he gets in games, and I think they get bored. They played in so many big games the last like 6-7 years. I think they get bored sometimes, and they just kind of go through the motions. But to Kyle's point, Kirby is like load management. It's starting to become a thing. It's going to become a bigger thing in college football now that you've got to win so many games. Like you have to manage your roster. You have to manage your players. Like you can't have your season derailed with injury. One interesting thing, Kirby's been a favorite of 38 points or more 14 times. You want to know what his against the spread record is in those games? He's 0-14 against the spread.
Wow.
Oh,
He's favored about 38 or more.
Those
now,
the numbers right there. Go ahead. Yeah.
Marshall is the dregs, man. They're one of the worst football teams in the country. Like Tony Gibson took over late in that process. Like he had trouble putting a roster together. Like they had like 40 guys in the spring. Like they're really bad. I mean, they're going to be probably the worst team in the Sun Belt. So, but yeah, I mean, I doubt Georgia has any interest in running the score up here. They're just going to get this thing over with.
Yeah, absent of, and Kyle, the reason I like your play is, and I'm almost inclined, Kyle, to make this thing a power play. I like your play so much that, but then Lee does make me think, because they did have a rocky offseason. They bled out a lot of players as well in the transition, which is what happens. But the only way Georgia gets that number to me is if Marshall goes in there and does a bunch of silly stuff and gives them a bunch of short fields. Because Kirby will play the game just to kind of like you said. He'll use it, Gunner Stockton, first quarter and a half, and then they'll do what they're going to do the rest of the time.
And you're kind of banking if Marshall can score 10 points. Because if they can get a touchdown and a field goal, then you're assuming Georgia's basically got to score 50, which
Yeah.
we don't think is going to happen anyway. And you're right.
Yep.
It's like watching high school football when a team rolls somebody in the first half and then the running clock. Like Georgia plays games like that. It looks like there's a running clock because they just go out there and just completely take the life out of the game, and just before you know it, it's over with and they've moved on.
Will Heflin, your play number 2. Hit it, my friend.
Yeah, so I'm going to stay in the SEC with this one. It's actually going to be a first half.
Okay.
And it's kind of a combination of a team that needs to start fast because they've got a brutal schedule, but they do have talent, and they're playing a team that I don't really like that much. So I'm going to look at A&M minus 13.5 first half. And you might think week 1, you got to be up by two scores after 2 quarters. That's asking a lot. UTSA was kind of fun a couple years ago. They had the lefty who seemingly played quarterback there forever. Owen McCown is in his second year now as full-time starter, but he threw 10 picks last year. Didn't really love some of those midweek games that you'd watch. You'd get a lot of look at teams like that. And I like Reed. I like Marcel Reed as an athlete and playmaker. Not sure I trust him in a huge game, but a game like this, I think A&M kind of starts fast, and I like that first half number. Just be up by 2 touchdowns.
That would be A&M football to start the year like that and get to their inevitable petering out, which will occur in a few weeks. The history of that school. Kyle, what do you think of that play? We got a first half line here.
Yeah, I like it because if there is a program who needs to come out and start fast for themselves, for their fans, to get the hype train running, it's A&M. And you're right, I think quarterback's got plenty of opportunities to get out there. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. I think it's a good first half play. And again, if they get up, then they may do the same thing we're talking about with Georgia too. They may sort of take their foot off the gas. So you want to get that quick start so those guys know they can get some rest there and not have to play much in the fourth quarter. I think it's a great play.
Hey, Lee, the overall card, we usually do this, and I didn't early on because we're getting used to our new format here over on YouTube, plus what we're doing over on the app as well. But lay it on me here, Lee, from your perspective. What do you grade this card as we jump off here in week 1?
Yeah, I mean, from like just a football fan perspective, like it's like A plus, right? It's like
Great.
my favorite weekend of the year. It's like,
Yeah.
You know, you get like 5 nights in a row of like at least one marquee game. It seems like every night.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrific. It's the best. It's from a betting perspective. It's not the best. Like I said, these lines have been up since like March in some places, and they've been picked to death. There's not a lot of meat left on the bone on some of these. So I'm kind of anxious to actually get to week 2 from a betting perspective, but as a fan, like, this is awesome. This is like the closest you can get to like NCAA tournament for me. It's like same vibes, right? Like football, you know, everything's starting off tonight and we got it for 5 straight days. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean, as we lay this down, we're watching the South Florida game, South Florida and Boise, in a very interesting game, a very interesting G5 game, and it's just sloppy and nasty looking and ugly, and hey, but it's first week football. We're thrilled to have it. And Lee, give me your third play from the colleges as we are presented by our friends at Dos Equis. And I'm going to let Willie tell you about our friends at VIP Play. But go ahead, Lee, give me your third play from the colleges.
Yeah, well, I guess this is a bigger game. This would be one of the isolated games. One of the games on Sunday. I guess it's Sunday afternoon. Virginia Tech and South Carolina. I'm on Vatech here. Plus, I think it's a 7.5. Should be available almost everywhere.
Yes,
it's to 8 actually. You can get 8 now.
Yeah,
wow.
That's supposed to make. Yeah.
Let's go, man.
All day. I think it's good down to 7. I'll have some Vatech money line on this. Like, again, for week 1, I think it's rare we really get like a solid, like, buy low, sell high. But that's what we're getting here. Vatech had all kinds of expectations last year, and they crashed and burned. Just negative stuff after negative stuff. So This is a really good buy low opportunity on them. And the same spectrum here, it's sell high on South Carolina. Like, everybody loves South Carolina. Like, they're the sexy team in the league. I think they're extremely overrated in the market right now. Like, I'm selling them at all these prices. I can't get to this particular number. I know Sellers is great. Don't get me wrong. I love Sellers. Losing to Rocket Sanders, I think, was a huge deal for that offense. The defense, though, was what really kept that team in a lot of games last year. Got big stops when they needed to. They had like 6 guys drafted into the NFL off of that defense. Like, there's 5 of them in the top 90 or top 120 picks. Like, he's been recruiting well. They ain't Ohio State when it comes to like replacing NFL talent, or they just plug guys in like that. I think that defense takes a significant step back this year. I think Vatek's loving this. He's getting a really good number, catching over a touchdown on a neutral. Historically, Beamer doesn't start off real hot anyway. So, yeah, I like this play quite a bit. I like Vatek on Sunday.
So many great points, man. First of all, Vatek, this is a season maker for them if they're able to get it. I mean, it's a huge credibility game for them. And whether we realize it or not, even the middle of the Southeastern Conference guys, when those ACC teams, and Will, you're used to this, having played SEC baseball, when you guys get on the field against other teams, you're a measuring stick. And South Carolina is a measuring stick for Virginia Tech. I mean, that play makes – C gave that out on my daily show today as one of the games he's going to play, and one of the games that he's most looking forward to watching, because he's like, it's just such an underrated Sunday afternoon opportunity for that Virginia Tech program to try and gain some footing. What do you all think of Lee's Virginia Tech +8?
Yeah, if there's a game to get sharp on in week 1, that's probably the one, because I mean, really, outside of Sellers, if you just match up, Virginia Tech might be the better roster. And so it's really sneaky. So, it's the Joes are going to be all over South Carolina. And they are at home, but I've heard, in several places that Virginia Tech's kind of a really clever play. And so I like it a lot.
It's a neutral site. I think it's a neutral site game. I think
it is.
Oh, it is. It's Aflac kickoff. I'm sorry.
It's Aflac kickoff. That's
even
fine.
Better. Even better. But yeah, South Carolina's schedule is just absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
It's hard to overlook somebody in week 1, but I really think they could. I mean, the whole off season, all they're hearing is, Sellers is great, but you've got to go to LSU. You've got Oklahoma at home. You got Bama at home, 2 Ole Miss, 2 A&M. Like, it would have been so easy for them to just look right past Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech's, like you said, they kind of disappointing last year, but everybody had high hopes. And so it's now kind of the time where everybody kind of forgot about them. And then it's like, oh, here they are now.
Well, when I think about it, guys, first of all, the fact that you have these neutral site games only adds to the intrigue for me. And so I don't like them. I mean, I don't think necessarily that it's quote unquote college football, but from a I'm going to put some money on this, or I'm going to entertain myself today with a play concept. The fact that these games are on neutral fields, I'm thinking about that Nebraska Cincinnati game, which is going to be played as we're recording here in a few hours. I mean, that adds such a layer of, and they're calling that a home game for Cincinnati, but God knows why.
It'll be 90%. Yeah, it'll be 90% Nebraska fans.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, like what? I know everything's for sale today, but geez, guys, that's just crazy. I know it's all for sale. I get it, but you calling that a home game? Kyle, do you have a thought on Frankie Jr.? Shout out Matt Dixon and South Carolina wearing the L here in week 1 against Ricky Ronnie and Virginia Tech.
Y'all said that was neutral. Is that in Charlotte?
It's somewhere. It's a neutral site game. It's that Aflac game, wherever it's being played. Don't ask questions like that. You'll learn that as you go along, Kyle. I'm a vat of misinformation.
So the thought I had was motivation. I think also, especially playing another SEC opponent, because they opened last year losing at Vandy. So
Yeah.
it's the SEC deal, and I think it's going to be doubly important for them because they're going to play a better SEC opponent.
It's in Atlanta.
And
Yeah.
that's right. It's the second game. It's the Sunday
Benson.
game. That's right.
Yeah.
It's a double dip down there. Tennessee plays one, they play the other. That's right.
And the other thing I was going to say too, like the last game that Sellers played, and I know it was a bowl game. I don't put a lot of stock in bowl games, but that was a really important game for them against Illinois. Like those coaches took that seriously, and Brett Bielema shoved Lenore Sellers in a locker for 4 quarters. I mean, he forced him in a negative EV check down after negative EV check down. He was brutal. I think a lot of coaches are going to look and see what he did and show that he can do something about that. Like, I think he's a good player. I think he's exciting, but he's got to learn how to get off his first read. Like, his footwork isn't always the best. Like, his pressure to sack ratio is way too high. Like, there's some stuff he's got to work on. He's a fun kid to watch. Like, I think he's good, but, you know, I'd hold off on, like, him being the best thing since sliced bread, like Heisman Trophy winner, all this stuff. Like, yeah, I think I think we can sell high right now on him. Maybe bomb a little bit later on in the season after they drop a couple of games.
You know what's funny, Lee? I've seen, like, I was looking at The Athletic the other day, and they had a mock of him in the top 5, and I'm going, I mean, okay, maybe. I'll tell you what he is. He's an unbelievable athlete who can run away from SEC athletes. And you're a damn great athlete when you can do that. But geez, man, I mean, I guess we should pump the brakes on him a little bit. Kyle, here we are, brother. Your third play. Go for it, my man.
I was going to say, Sellers had the Rick Vaughn glow up when he put on the rec spec. Changed his whole attitude, just like in Major League.
Yeah, that's a pretty good play.
My third pick will be Utah at UCLA. I know that's going to trigger some of your Daily Show callers talking about Nico. But I'm going to go Utah -5.5 is where I saw it on VIP at the time. It's not a Nico fade. It's just sort of Utah finally getting life without Cam Rising, even though he's a legendary quarterback. He was injured so much. You know, I think it'll help that team just with the continuity, just knowing who's at the helm. And Tennessee's had that before in the past when you're not sure who's, leading you. I'm sure Will understands that, playing high level, college sports when there's kind of that uncertainty at the top. It does kind of scream down to the team. Utah's just got a really good defense. They're going to run the ball. They're kind of built like an SEC program to some degree. Also, I think we've seen this when Tennessee's gone out there before. I remember going out in 2008. UCLA is on a quarter system. They don't even let their kids move into campus until like the 17th of September. They don't start until like the 25th. It's just going to be a pretty sterile environment out there. And I don't think there's a lot of hype behind this game other than, you got a new quarterback. So I think that really plays into Utah's hands. And I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything. It might actually be kind of an ugly game, but I just think defense, running the ball, I like Utah.
Hey, Lee, Winningham I was listening to the Football Scoop guys today, who, by the way, are really good. I don't know if you guys have ever caught their podcast, but those guys are really, really good, and they keep up with the coordinators and the coaches. And today they were talking about how Winningham behind the scenes is glowing. And he's usually not this type of guy, but he's glowing when it comes to what they have at Utah this year. And one of those guys said that Cam Rising the past couple of seasons, though he was a nice player, kind of held him hostage a little bit, which I think is a pretty accurate way to put that, with his will he or won't he, and can he and can't he, and do you guys have a thought on this Utah UCLA game? By the way, late game Saturday night. To us that love it, that live on the East Coast, we'll be up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning watching that thing because I love that late night package. I'm so glad Fox is going to honor what ESPN used to do, and is going to give us some Pac-10 after dark or Pac-12 after dark. I think the Pac-12 anymore, but it's the same thing. Thoughts on this game, guys?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the Cam Rising thing the last 2 years, yeah, he held the program hostage. Like, it was every week. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? He is, and it got to the point where it was just kind of a running joke, especially in the betting community. But they were rolling out like 4-string walk-ons, like some dude that like works on a farm. They had to pull him off the farm to go play quarterback for him, and their offense couldn't do anything. So yeah, they're bringing in Dampier from New Mexico and his offensive coordinator Jason Beck, who I think is really good. So Utah's offense is going to be night and day better than what it has been the last couple of years. I think this is Nico gets his first start. He's going to have to go up against a Morgan Scalley 3-3-5 defense for Utah. That's extremely difficult to figure out. Probably not going to end very well for him. There, I will say this: I give Deshaun Foster a ton of credit. That team could have easily quit last year, and they didn't. They actually got a lot better as the season went on. They fought real hard, covered a lot of games. Nobody thought they'd have a chance to even cover. Won a couple of them. The problem is that team was carried by its defense, and they lost almost all of those defensive guys that they had last year. I do like the Sinceri hire, bringing him in from Indiana at OC. I think he runs really good stuff. I think he'll have good game plans. At one point earlier in the week, it said UCLA was going to be missing their top 3 receivers. Then I heard yesterday they're all supposed to be back. So that would obviously be positive for Nico. But this has been bet up like 6 points. I think Utah wins the game. I haven't bet it. It's hard for me to see Nico having a lot of success against that defense in week 1.
They're just smothering, and then the supporting cast he has around him. You talk about having your work cut out for you, like jumping in from he's going to feel like he's back in that Ohio State game again. They're going to smother him, and that's tough. Will, do you have a thought on that one? And will you be up late watching a little Utah UCLA? Because that's going to be a pretty cool football game, Nico or not. First of all, I love watching UCLA. I love their colors. I love Kyle Whittingham's Utah guys. They get after you defensively. They get in your ass on defense. They're fun to watch.
They are. And I do have a thought because it was actually my third play as well. So clearly I agree. Love the Dampier pickup. He's super versatile, very athletic. I think you throw him in with that roster. And I'm trying to remember. I think they lost Money Parks on offense, who was a really good playmaker, but I think they still have Nate Johnson.
Yeah.
And there's a safety there, Teo Johnson, who is a ball hawk. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 special. I don't like it because it's fading Nico, but it doesn't hurt knowing your listener base. Really couldn't care less about that. That's got nothing to do with the play, but have always. You ever notice when you're looking at games, regardless of how this is going, because last year I was even the same way, knowing that Zach Wilson's brother wasn't any good, Isaac, and they were bringing guys off the street to play quarterback, like was mentioned. You still, just because it's Kyle Whittingham and the culture they have there is so good, you always find yourself leaning Utah. And so it kind of makes too much sense. Maybe that's the trap here, but that was my third play as well as Utah. It was 4.5 earlier, and I think it's all the way up. You're almost laying a touchdown now, so it's probably not going to get any better. So if you like it, now is probably the time. But again, week 1 kind of sucks because you got to give out the worst of the number. But it is what it is, and here we are giving out a bunch of road favorites. But the better team is the better team, especially early. There's not a whole lot of bounce back or spot plays. But obviously nothing I say is ever betting advice because I do with VIP plays. So these are just my opinions. I'm just talking into the wind.
Well, hey, and this is a great place to talk into the wind, may I say. But you mentioned VIP play because I want to give you C's. I want to take apart C's pick. C sent me 4 plays for this week, and I would like us to rip him from pillar to post since he's not here to defend himself. He actually has a couple. He agrees with you guys on a couple as we're presented by our friends at Dos Equis, ladies and gentlemen. Their lager especial, you just simply have got to try it. I'm talking about Dos Equis lager especial. It's golden Pilsner style. It is, right now here in East Tennessee, we're toggling between, no matter where you're watching us in the world, a little bit of summer, a little bit of fall, a little bit of summer, a little bit of fall. Let me tell you something about Dos Equis. Dos Equis is a winner, whether you're in the summer or whether you're in the fall. And it's made with choice of hops to balance composition, smooth, clean finish. Party guest always invited, never overstays his welcome. You can even dress it up, rub that bottleneck. can or glass rim with a little bit of lime, and then dip it in some salt to taste, and you'll come back again and again. Go ahead and tell me about VIP play and what we got cooking here in week 1.
Well, all your standard boosts and games of the week, all that stuff you can choose from. If you build a parlay, you can boost that up. But we're gonna have we've got 2 interesting bet specials going on tonight, which are just plays that you can't get anywhere else, that are kind of, I'll give you an example. So any FBS team to score 50 plus tonight was one of them. And the other one was the MAC attack, the 4 MAC teams that are playing FBS teams, any one of them to win. I think Akron was the most likely one. They were a 7-point dog. The other ones were pretty heavy dogs. But just fun stuff like that. And then obviously headed into the weekend, Tone, you've got a play you'll put together, and we'll boost that up on the side as well. So should be a fun opening. I guess it's week 1. Week 0 is opening weekend. It's weird how they do that. But anyways, the first full slate of college football would be super exciting. Got everything you could want. So I'm pumped.
Hey, boys, all politics are local. Let's talk about this Tennessee game before we get down the rip and seize plays. I want to know your feel. I want to know your thoughts. I promised the listeners we'd unpack this. None of you, I see, have brought this in here to bet on it. I guess because Blair's not here. Blair usually goes, okay, I'll be a sheep, and I'll take the Vols to cover. Not a very good Blair imitation. Blair, I love you. Does anybody have a feel for this game? Anybody?
I don't know.
Kyle. Hang on, Kyle. I think you're zapped again. Go ahead. Give me your feel for it. Hit it.
I would lean towards the first half cover. I could
Okay.
see Tennessee coming out and jumping on Syracuse, and then Heupel, as he's grown up over the past few years, then realizing when he's got the lead in hand, he's got the win, he's kind of shutting it down a little bit and squeezing the game life out of the game and riding and getting ready, because you don't want to show everything you got. You got a big game in 2 weeks. And so you get out of Saturday and you start doing your combo prep for ETSU, which is really your prep for Georgia.
You know, Lee, he's got a good point. And the other thing about Syracuse, the more I study them, Lee, you earlier you were talking about Marshall being kind of a dreadful team. That Syracuse team is just not very good. I'm trying to find spots. I'm trying to find trouble for the Vols. It's sort of my job. Keep everybody a little bit interested. I just don't see how you get in trouble here. Now, I don't know in terms of the line and how it goes at 13.5, but I just don't see how Tennessee gets in trouble in this game unless Showy football can't play.
Yeah, I mean, this is dependent for the most part. This is really dependent on Tennessee's and that offense. I mean, look, everybody knows what Syracuse, they lost a ton of their quarterback. Like, their top 3 leading receivers are running back. Like, a couple guys picked off in the spring that were key to them. I'll say this. Fran Brown he's getting good players up there. I don't think he's replacing all of those players with guys that just can't play. Like, I do think they've got guys up there that can catch a football, that are good athletes. Everybody, hated Kyle McCord coming out of Ohio State, and then he led the nation in passing last year. Like, I'm not saying Angeli's going to do that, but I think he's probably going to be functional enough to run the offense.
Yep.
I don't know. I'll look at Tennessee on the offensive side. Like, you're replacing 150 career starts on the offensive line, all your wide receivers, your all-world running backs. You're replacing your quarterback. So I don't know what this offense is going to look like. I mean, so there's no way I could lay points with them. The one thing, I'm not really interested in betting this, but I became very interested a few days ago when this total got bludgeoned down from 55 to 51, but the side didn't move. Like, those are correlated in my opinion. Like, this thing gets bet down 4 points on the total, but the price should have come down on Tennessee, but it didn't. Like, I think inherently with a game with a total of 51, there's probably value on Syracuse at 14, catching 14 when that didn't move. Like, that was odd to me. Yeah, it's hard to know what you're going to get from either one of these teams with all the turnover offensively for both teams. I guess I would lean Tennessee, but it's hard. I wouldn't honestly put a dime on it. I just don't know what you're getting from this offense, man. I really don't.
It's my take. No, it's my take because I know Syracuse is hurting for certain. I know they lost an interior offensive lineman to San Diego State in the spring out of the portal because he wanted to go play with his high school coach. I know they lost one of their best defensive linemen to Texas because Texas just that's how they roll. You know, they got in spring ball, saw that they needed some help, and that's how they roll. I mean, we're going to go take a guy off your roster. I know
Penn State picked off their number one wide receiver in the spring. Like Trevor Pena was their number one wide receiver left, and Penn State went and that was a luxury pickup for them. They had already added 2 other studs at wide receiver, and they picked off Pena. So, yeah, I mean, this might be ugly for Syracuse's offense. They might really struggle to get things going here. I understand why the under took money. That makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, this is a game where it's definitely more of a fact-finding mission for me. I got to see what you're getting from both of these squads. I don't think Syracuse is like at the bottom of the ACC with Cal and Stanford and Wake. I do think they're better than those teams. Like, I don't think they're just going to be that god-awful, but I guess they could. It's tough, man.
I'll tell you what. So go ahead, Willie.
Well, I really do like Fran Brown. I mean, easy to like. They played like hell for that guy all year last year. Wouldn't touch it, but the only thing, Heupel's been really good in openers, handling business, beating teams that they're more talented than. So if you believe that trend continues, maybe you like Tennessee. But for me, it's like you said, literally fact finding for both sides. Like you just don't know. I mean, Aguilar could fit right in seamlessly and, you know, be a really nice fit.
Yeah.
It could just be awful because he hasn't had a whole lot of time and he's got turnover history. Like, you just really don't know. The only thing we really do know is Tennessee probably should run the ball pretty decent. I like the backfield and the line up front should be better at run blocking than pass blocking. They may be okay. We'll see pass protection, but they should be able to run between the guards at least. So we'll see. But 13.5 is kind of a weird number for how much you really don't know. And, you know, being around it, hearing about them all the time, it just kind of puts you in a spin cycle that much more.
Totally agree. That's the fact finding thing and the term spin cycle speak loud and clear to me after the summer we've gone through. All right, let me give you C's plays, and then I want to get down to what y'all have picked, and let's see if we can find 3 winners on the card here and make some folks happy. By the way, for several consecutive years now, when it comes to our power plays at the end of the night, we are over 500 decently. We had a pretty decent year last year. It wasn't great, but we ended up over 500, which, you know, hey, you're, as Lee likes to say, pushing money back and forth across the table, but you're still having fun and you're not getting hurt too bad. So C likes Georgia Southern money line with Fresno. He likes Virginia Tech plus 7.5 with South Carolina. Loves that. He said that's his favorite play of the weekend. What about this one, guys? You guys are a little more degenerate than I am. Rice plus 11.5 versus Louisiana Lafayette. Anybody have a feel for that game?
So back in April, lots of people get on to me on one of my spaces because the first football team I brought up was Rice. And people were like, what are you talking about? Here's the deal. Rice hired a guy named Scott Abel to come be their head coach. If you don't know who he is, look him up. This is his first year coaching Division I football. He comes in from Davidson. Before that, he was at Division III, like Washington and Lee University or whatever. Everywhere he has ever been, he has led the nation in rushing. He runs a very unique option style out of the pistol shotgun. It's very much something you haven't seen before. He's had games where he's rushed for 700 yards in games before. So it's in the same vein that we identified Vandy in week 1 of last year. I think Rice is a team that I've got circled that can do the same thing in that they're going to play ball control, keep the ball on the ground, limit possessions, give themselves a chance to win football games and cover spreads. Now, Louisiana, they actually have a 5-star quarterback, Walker Howard, who was at Ole Miss and LSU. They're supposed to be one of the better teams in that league. So I didn't bet Rice. That's the side I lean just because of the style. I'm just week one. I'm not sure what it looks like. I want to see it first, but I'm very interested in Rice this year. I bet their season win total over. They're going to be a really fun team to watch. With it's like I said, it's a very unique style. It's interesting. Like I'm like what he did with Davidson. He took them to the playoffs like 3 years. That's a non-scholarship D2 team, and turned them completely around. He's a really good football coach. So I think he's got the right side there. I just want to see it first personally.
You're on mute, Tony.
I don't mean this the way it sounds, but it's a shame guys like him don't get an opportunity at a real job, and they have to go to a place like Rice and prove themselves. Just an observation on my part, but his other game that he liked. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think back when the totals came out, Rice was maybe their win total was maybe 3.5. It might have even been 2.5. Lee probably knows.
It was it opened 3.5. I grabbed it at 3.5.
Yeah, and that's what I did too. I grabbed the over 3.5. So I think that's the exact thought process was they'll do enough to get to 4 wins.
His other one was
if you don't prepare for them, you're going to get humiliated. Like you have to prepare for them every single week in that conference, and I'm not sure teams are going to do that. You saw it with Vanderbilt last year, so it's interesting.
So here are our plays. Let's pick from him because he also likes the Utah game, Utah UCLA. Lee likes Northwestern +5 with Tulane. I read these for a couple reasons. One, as you follow the show this year, you'll see I'm not very detail oriented. It's just not a strength of mine. And then so these guys will say, no, it's not what I said. So we're going to read these back, and then we're going to pick 3. South Dakota +15 versus Iowa State, coming back from that huge win last week in Farmageddon, across the pond. And then Virginia Tech +8 with South Carolina in the Georgia Dome on Sunday afternoon. Kyle likes Bama -14.5 at Florida State. He likes Marshall +39 with Georgia, and Utah -5.5 at UCLA, some midnight madness. Will Heflin likes Georgia Tech -4.5 and A&M a first half line -13.5. And then he also has Utah as well. And C has the Utah game as well. Why don't we make Utah one of them? I'll go ahead and what's the number you have VIP play, Will, right now?
Let me go see.
A -5.5. I'm going to put that down at 5.5. And you give me the right number. Hey, Lee, the second play I think ought to be that Virginia Tech +8, if you guys feel that.
The 2 I had was Utah and Vatek, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the Vatek +8. +8 with Syracuse. And then what's our third one, guys? To pick from, we've got Georgia Tech -4.5. We've got Bama -14.5. We've got Marshall +39. Northwestern +5 with Tulane. South Dakota +15 with Iowa State. What's our second one, guy, or our third one there, guys? Or do we want to go with that or that Rice play, Lee? Or are we afraid of Rice? 11.5 off the jump.
I'd either roll. I'd say Rice or Marshall.
All right, Kyle, let's do that. Let's do the Marshall play. All right, and that was
disgusting. Like you're gonna have to hold your nose. Like it's not gonna be fun, but I think you got to take the points there.
All right, Marshall +39. Was it 39, Kyle? Is that right? 38, 39. I'm looking here.
38.5.
38.5.
Utah's 5.5.
Utah's 5.5. Okay. So Utah -5.5, Virginia Tech +8, and Marshall +38.5. Any other final thoughts here, guys, going into the weekend? Will there be any guilty pleasure watching? None of you talked about the Clemson LSU game. Guys, I love that that's being played on somebody's campus. And I love how ballsy LSU is doing this to themselves each year. Lee, are they going to do this again? Are they going to start the year with a loss that in a game they shouldn't be playing? Are they going to do this again?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's possible. You know, people don't talk about Dabo's week one either. Like, he's gotten creamed by Georgia 2 out of the last 3 years. Duke stomped him out 2 years ago in week one. Like, he ain't exactly been great. Like, I think it's a fascinating game. I think you got to look. I think this is an excellent live betting game. Like, in game, I think you can trade out live. I would take LSU plus the 4.5 and look at possibly trying to get maybe Clemson plus 4.5 at some point. I think that's very possible. I don't know. I think Clemson is being a little bit tad overrated in the market. Like, this is a team returns a lot of guys off of last year. I get it, but they got stomped by Georgia. They got beat by South Carolina. Louisville went into Clemson and pushed them around totally last year. They were lucky to beat Pitt. SMU spotted them 14 points in that championship game, or they don't win that. I think they're being overrated because of 26 minutes of football versus Texas in a game they didn't even cover. Like, I think they're going to be good this year, but I don't know. I think 4.5 is a little bit too much. I would be looking at LSU there, but if I could get Clemson back on the other side in game at 4.5, I would take that too and just sit back and hope for a middle.
Hey, Will, do you have a yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
Don't do me stuff on you. I think this is going to be a sports writer, sports broadcast quality game, because regardless of how this thing goes, you better be in the presser waiting for it's over, because you're going to get some quality quotes from whoever loses that game, whether it's Dabo or whether it's Brian Kelly. It is going to be worth the price of admission. So you want an exciting game and a fun finish on the field, because also when they get in front of that microphone, it's going to be worth the price of admission.
Well, here's the truth. The truth is Clemson, for credibility's sake, needs to win that game. Brian Kelly, if he wants to keep those people off his ass, needs to win that game. Last thing you want, if you're LSU, Will Heflin, is to start that year 0-1 once again, because those people down there are getting sick of him. They've spent a lot of money in the offseason. A lot of money.
They did. And I really liked the Brown kid from Kentucky that they picked up. Was it Darian Brown?
Yeah, great player.
So they're loaded. But my pick over the summer to win the Natty was actually Clemson. So it hurts me a little bit to hear that they might be overrated. But Dabo did finally do a little work in the portal.
He did.
And I'm just I'm a sucker for stability at quarterback. I love Klubnik. Third year as a starter, so maybe I fall victim to that, and I know that he can win big games, and I think the other teams in that conversation have more uncertainty. So that's kind of beside the point. But I think it's telling that we didn't really nobody went to that Ohio State Texas game. It's two guys making their first real start. I know Arch started against Monroe last year, but first real start. Julian saying same boat. Both rosters are absolutely loaded. It's going to be a phenomenal game, but one that you probably just sit back and enjoy and fact find about the two teams who are good, but you want to see what it looks like. Kind of similar to me and that Clemson LSU game, because I really do. I'm super high on Clemson, maybe too high, but I could see them losing to LSU and then kind of running the table with their schedule. Sure. And then, make a run in the playoffs if they're able to get there. But if they win that game, they automatically jump to, pretty smooth sailing to top 4 seed if you can handle business. And so that's kind of the outlook. One thing I will say about these premier matchups in week one that are actually on campus, that's a huge deal. And I know Nussmeier's a vet as well, but it is week one. We saw how sloppy K-State and Iowa State are, even with Rocco Beck back there for Iowa State. I know it was a rain game in Ireland, so it's a little different, but it's going to be, you got to be on your P's and Q's with the silent count if you need it, if it's too loud. So false starts could be an issue for the road teams. It'd be very telling to see how LSU and Texas look being the road teams in those environments week 1.
I
Well,
think Will hit the nail on it because as far as the matchups go, we're in the playoff era where week 1 games no longer destroy your season. Most of these teams can afford to lose 2 times, so you just go in. It's really just a bonus game for you because if you win, it adds that credibility.
Yeah.
And you can be sloppy, all the things, but also with this game, it's a little bit different because of everything you said with what it means to the coaches and what it means to the programs. So it's kind of probably the most intense game in terms of meaning because of the direction it's going to set your fan base and the direction it's going to go for your season. Whereas those other prime matchups, the team comes out of it, whoever loses still doesn't even have to run the table. They can still lose once, maybe twice, because these games almost don't hurt you in most cases. They can only really help, but this is the difference.
I love it. And I love now that they've also spelled it out for the playoff that you're going to get rewarded for playing games like this. And that's a good thing. I mean, that needs to happen. And you really shouldn't get punished. Like Notre Dame, Miami, Sunday night, guys. That's going to be that's my guilty pleasure, another guilty pleasure game of mine this weekend. Because the guy at Miami, I don't trust him in a game like this. And the guy at Notre Dame's a hell of a coach. But who knows what's going to happen there. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. Lee, is there anything, I always ask you, is there anything in UFC this weekend that you like, or are we off this week? What are we doing in UFC?
Yeah, so UFC is actually off this week. They go to Paris. They go to Paris next week.
Yep.
So, next week you're going to get Imavov versus Kai Baraiho, and the winner of that in that main event is likely going to be the guy that challenges Hamzat, who just won the middleweight title. So that's a big fight the week after this weekend in Paris. So unfortunately, no UFC this weekend.
You were there to see Duplessis get hugged to the ground, weren't you? His takedown defense. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking, Lee, but he wasn't going to get up the other night.
Yeah, that was rough, man. Like that was the first UFC event I've ever been to, and then I couldn't miss it because I've been Duplessis' biggest fan since he entered UFC.
Him. Yeah.
Like people thought I was crazy. I said this guy's going to win the title one day, and they said, "Man, this guy sucks. What are you talking about?" And I love him, so there was no way I was going to miss that. And I spent a lot of money to go up there for a day just to see him be held down on the mat for 24 minutes. Yeah, I mean, look, I give him most guys wouldn't survive. He's just a tank, so Hamzat couldn't finish him.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, that's just what Hamzat does. Like, I don't know what Drinkus was thinking. Like, he didn't, but yeah, he had no answers for it. So that was kind of depressing, but still love my guy. He'll be back.
On the way out, boys, there wasn't that much hugging on my honeymoon. I don't know about y'all, but guys, a lot of fun. Will, VIP play, tell them how they can find us and what we're doing.
Download the app, baby. VIP Play TN is the app. Use code TN Tony.
There we go. Now we're talking.
All caps.
That's what I want to hear.
Tony.
Not your promo code, big boy. My promo code.
I'm a selfless guy, Tone. Look, you got to be in. You got to be in Tennessee and 21 to bet. Got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And
thanks,
if you're
guys.
Crazy like Tony, do what you want.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and I want to thank my friends at Dos Equis one more time. Back for another year presenting. Hey, good luck this weekend, guys. Hit those winners and stay away from those losers. Good luck, boys.
Thank you, Tom. Please go help out your local animal shelters. I would appreciate it. The dogs and the cats would appreciate it.
I love my dogs, man. I love my dogs. We love you. God bless. Go Vols, go. Hey, like and subscribe. Hit that button, like and subscribe, and we'll come back next week. You hit those winners. You stay away from those losers. We love you.